Welcome to Business Leader Breakthroughs, where we help unlock the potential in you, your teams, and your business. I'm your host, Ryan Castle, along with Dr. Mike Ashby. We'll share insights, experiences, and stories on achieving breakthrough success in business and life. To learn more, click the link in the episode show notes or go to thebreakthrough.co. Now let the breakthroughs begin. Mike, I think we should take a bit of a personal view of the world on today's podcast. Mm-hmm. We know and work with a lot of business leaders, and we put a lot of focus into achieving in the business environment, but equally we have some core philosophies in everything that we've worked with our clients. And our number one, which we've talked about before, is health, family and work.
In that order.
Is the key bit, and we've seen many people who might be able to put a great big tick box in the business or the work box going, career, business, profit, however we measure that, is going very well. But if they're not succeeding in the health and family zone, then life can get a little bit challenged.
Yeah. And look, we've got, it gets philosophical very quickly, but you get down to, well, what are you here for? What's your purpose? And I remember watching an interview with Douglas Myers, who headed Lion Nathan. He was a brilliant businessman. He was pretty brutal,
pretty ruthless.
And in the interview, he had very cold blue eyes, very steely blue, and I don't know exactly what happened, but when the interviewer asked him a question, and he started saying, "My son," and then he just choked up, and he just teared up, and it was kind of, for all that money and all that success, man, that's hurting. Whatever's gone on there, that's hurting. Yeah. So it's a kind of reminder, and we've always been observant about that. We're people, we're here for a purpose, we are, heart, soul, mind, and hands. We're all of those things, and let's take care of that in our work environment. And we've been talking about that since we started, back in 2003, that piece has been really important to us,
And we meet a lot of HR leaders, people leaders that are now focused on employee experience, making sure that they can create good engagement in their organisations, and we know that health and flexibility and these things are important elements of engagement. But a piece that I often reference with clients we work with comes from a fantastic book by a palliative care nurse called Bronnie Ware. She's from Australia, and she wrote a very insightful book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying.
Yep, she was in palliative care for about 20 years, and she spent a lot of time with people in their last hours, and she had these conversations with people about, about what did they regret as people faced the end of their time. And we've used it a lot, actually, going back years. It always kind of gets people, it just stops people and goes, okay. And so the first one is, and most profound, I suppose, is, I wish I'd lived my life instead of the life others wanted me to live. And people go, how much of what I'm doing is actually for and about other people as opposed to myself? Now, being with other people and living a life with other people and kind of accommodating and allowing and acknowledging and appreciating other people, that's totally part of our lives, right?
Sure.
It's not that we kind of exist on our own in a completely self-focused way. It's very much about connection with others.
Yes.
But at the same time, if you've gone for the career that your parents thought you should have, if you've married the person that your friends or society thought you should marry, if you've lived in the place where if you've actually gone down a track that's been laid down by what you think others want you to do, not necessarily what they want you to do, but what you think, then whose life is it? And that's, for some people particularly, the kind of the midlife crisis that we hear about is a real thing. And it is a piece where people go, what about me? And often women, particularly when the children have left home, because where's my life now?
My identity, who am I now?
Men have moments, particularly men at the age of 43, as I've told you before, this is when a lot of men go, I'm tired of creating value for this organisation. I look up and actually, can I say this?
You can.
Okay, when I look up, all I see is arseholes. And I look down and it's kind of, I don't want to be here anymore. And that's a version of not wishing to live the life others want me to live, the safe, the predictable, the kind of
And I don't think this has to be so momentous that you've got to chuck the job and sell the house, go and live in Bali for a year to find yourself. Hey, if that's your approach, then all the power to you.
Yeah, see you on the beach.
A good example, we had a client who had bought an engineering business. As the owner of the business, he felt he should be in a general management, kind of role, running the business. So he spent all his time in the office dealing with the things that a business owner deals with. And on reflection, he was like, I really like being an engineer.
Yeah.
So we helped him reframe the business. We brought in a general manager, helped him bring a general manager in, who was way better skilled, way better desire and appetite to actually run general management for the business. And he got back down onto the floor and was an engineer. Loved it. His employees could see the passion again. He had so much knowledge to give and share in the engineering capacity that he went back there and he was back living. It was a tweak, but it was the version of life that he wanted to be living, not what others expected him to be.
So important.
Okay. Roll on from that is the second regret that Bronnie Ware talks about, which is, I just wish I hadn't worked so hard. And we probably don't need to spend a lot of time explaining that one.
Nobody lay on their deathbed wishing they'd spent more time at the office.
Correct. To be clear, we're not saying you shouldn't work with intensity or with energy, but don't let it consume your world. While you're on at work, go hard. That's right. But make sure you spend some time doing the other things that you love as well.
Yeah. I sometimes think of my dog, actually. In fact, I was watching this morning. We were being invaded by the gardener and the electrician coming to do that, and there was a courier, and oh man, she was. So what happens is she barks like crazy. She's not a big dog, as you know.
No,
she's
barely even a dog.
Even a dog. I don't think she has the legs for it.
No,
I think it's the problem.
Yeah.
But when she's fully on when the gate goes, or when she can sense people, she's fully on and kind of bright as and ready. And the rest of the time, down. If you work like a dog, you wouldn't work that long.
Yes.
Work very hard. It's very intense. Those moments, she barks herself off her feet. But it's not for long. And that's not a bad way of thinking about it. It's kind of when you're working, work. When you're playing, play.
I like it. The third regret from Bronnie Ware was, I wish I'd expressed my feelings. And I think there's the obvious ones of telling more people that you love them, that they bolstered your life and they lift you up, those kind of things. But also I think in our broader context of community and work, actually sharing the love a bit more. Telling people that you value them, telling people that they make a really great contribution to your life and your world. Look, it doesn't have to be momentous, but I think actually just telling people you appreciate them is a really powerful thing.
And it doesn't have to be gushy. I think we have a kind of a cultural fear of being too gushy. But I think the idea of, if you have an instinct to say something about your feelings, you should probably listen to that rather than suppress it. And I think the whole point is, if you keep repressing that stuff, whether it's resentment or whether it's love, either way, if you repress that stuff, it will come back. Eckhart Tolle talks about what you resist grows stronger, what you accept, you move beyond. Expressing your feelings is a way of getting that stuff out and being free in it, and it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
It is. And similar inspirational.
I love you, Ryan.
I love you too, Mike. We'll hug out after this. Yeah, which will be more my expression of feeling than yours, but that's okay.
I'll be all right. Is that what we mean by the next one, staying in touch with friends?
Yeah. Physical touch maybe sometimes. Look, I often ask our clients, think of someone that you were really great friends with, and it might be back at school, it might be in early stages of your work, whenever it was, and have you been in contact with them recently? And every single person can think of someone and go, man, they used to be my best buddy, my best friend, we used to hang out, they were a really great person, and we've lost touch. And we all know why that happens. But this was the regrets that people lay on the deathbed and talked about. We're going, wow, there was that really awesome friend. If I had have just made maybe a bit more effort to stay in touch. I have a group of friends, 3 guys that I went right through school with. Fortunately, all our wives get on famously and are good friends. We're known as the Little League because we were all short asses at school. Right. So, look, every year we would normally do sort of 3 to 4 dinners out, and we do 1 or 2 weekends away as a group. And look, it's because everyone's, the rest of the time, very little contact, everyone's got their own circles and things going on, but those 4 to 6 times a year we get together, and it has just kept such a strong bond. That's for fantastic. Our friendship. It's been amazing.
I admire that. I mean, I don't have, I have a small number of very close friends rather than a large circle. I don't know if you can imagine why that would be. No. So,
should we talk about introversion and extroversion?
We don't know. Learned extroverts and things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm conscious of it, and yet at the same time I go, well, you know, the contact I have with the small number is enough. And it's the most important thing is just to be mindful of how much do you want. It's part of the life well lived, you know.
Sure.
It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be kind of, oh, if I don't have lots of friends, I'm going to kind of, you know, be miserable. That ain't the case. But it is what works for you, and that self-awareness about what works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree. And look, the last one is I just wish I'd let myself be happy. And my take on this is what we would talk more broadly about is the practice of gratitude. I think we can spend a lot of time wishing and hoping for the things that we're going to receive, or that we're going to get, or we're going to achieve in the future. I wish I had that better car, bigger house, next overseas holiday, whatever. Yeah. Actually practicing some gratitude for what you have right now. You know, I have a roof over my head, I've got a beautiful family, I've got clothes on my back, I've got a full tummy, you know, these things. And again, we've seen research time and time again, the simple practice of if you're in a tough spot, and I just mean a bit stressed out or going, oh, this is a bit challenging, sitting down and writing 10 things you're grateful for, right here, right now.
It's a great boost.
Boost your energy, boost your mindset, you're away.
If you hear yourself saying, I'll be happy when, then you're not letting yourself be happy. And we know that actually that practice of gratitude is, when used with people who are suffering from depression, it's more effective than medication and psychotherapy combined.
Wow.
Just getting into the habit of looking for what's working in their lives, what's good in their lives, is just a massive boost. So it's kind of, and you know, the Buddhist tradition is about attachment, being too attached to either things you've got now or things you might want to have, instead of going, this is it and it's perfect. You know, that's the first step. This is it and it's perfect. Acceptance.
So what's the one thing you couldn't give up that you're attached to?
I am pretty attached to success. There's a wonderful framework called the Enneagram, which has been really interesting to me, and I'm an achiever, which surprised me a little bit. And then I realised, actually, I do a thing about success. I do think, when I've got, you know, I project out when we've done this, and you know, I find that I always am projecting out when this. But because I know that, I also go, that's true. That will be fun. I will be happy then, but I'm also happy now. And that's because I've got, you know, I live in this country, I have this wonderful job, this wonderful business, these wonderful colleagues, wonderful family, wonderful wife, you know, and then you just go, yeah, that's good.
Good job. So team, that's a wrap for today's podcast. Think about that when you're giving some context, not only to your business goals, but also what life might look like over the short, medium and long term. Have a look at Bronnie Ware's Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. We'll put some details in the show notes, and it's a really good framework just to think about where you're at in your zone. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers.